Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello, and welcome back.
Yes. So, guys, we have more than 230 dead in Canada amid this unprecedented heat wave.
There is that vocabulary word again.
Yes. It's hard to get away from certain words in these times.
It is.
So, we've seen amazing temperatures going on, wild fluctuations. We have extremes that are getting even more extreme, it seems, every day. Dozens of people have died in Canada amid this unprecedented, that word, heat wave that has smashed record temps. Look at that. That's just about 48 degrees Celsius. That's huge. Police in the Vancouver area have responded to more than 230 sudden deaths within 4 days, about 100 more than average for a 4-day period. Tuesday, officers had responded to 20 sudden death calls that day alone. Most were the elderly or had underlying health conditions, with heat often a contributing factor. Canada broke its record temperature for a third straight day on Tuesday, 49.6 degrees, 121 in Layton. British Columbia, 121 in British Columbia. British Columbia, being as hot or hotter than Death Valley, that's pretty wild.
I know, that's really, really concerning.
Hey, well, look at that. The all-time record high in Phoenix is 122. This is right there. This is really wild. Did you see places in the U.S. or Canada that have ever been as warm? And there's not a lot.
No, there's not.
This is a sign of the changing times. Sign of the, all the different things that are going on, augmentation. Maybe there's some non-angelic beings playing around with harp.
They might be playing with that harp, and not in a way that's conducive to our health.
So we have this AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg, that went on record to say that, this is not all about global warming. And, hopefully he'll be able to hold on to his job a while. Because, when you talk about things like that and it goes against what is the narrative, a lot of times there's backlashes. So look at the anomaly here, and that's just the latest GFS runs. Look at the temperature departures. And when we look to New Mexico, for instance, place where we called home for a little while, 16 to 20 degrees Celsius below seasonal average. Interesting. And, well, what do you do?
I know.
What do you do? And so many of you guys are saying that too, because, when we look to where are the safe zones, quote unquote, that we had talked about, one of the areas that comes up is the Four Corners. And, there's a lot of challenges everywhere we go. Four Corners, we talk about the Ozarks, we talk about the Appalachians, these areas being, quote unquote, thought to be safer areas, but everywhere's got its challenges.
It sure does, safe as opposed to what. So you always have to pick and choose what you're able to deal with.
Yep. And we were talking to our brother Rob in New Mexico. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
A little shout out for Rob there. And it was raining when we were talking to him yesterday. And meanwhile, we have the wildfires kicking in, wildfire season. Lava fire grows to more than 17,000 acres as containment fails. And when I heard the lava fire, it hits you right off the bat saying, it makes you think volcanic activity, doesn't it? But they say this was started by lightning strikes.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally curious. I do want to say thank you to DJ for pointing this out to me this morning. Really, really good information. But again, why call it a lava fire? Because that actually kind of made my heart skip a little bit when I heard it.
Yeah, because you start thinking, okay, the big volcanic activity has begun in the Pacific Northwest on the West Coast. And, of course, it could be named after a ridge or something along those lines. Boy, did we find tons of lava everywhere. It through New Mexico and Nevada and Arizona. Just the signs of what can only be described as past cataclysms are everywhere. And firefighters have 19% of the wildfire contained, which is actually down from 20% on Tuesday. And this is over in the area around Mount Shasta and Lake Shastina. This is gorgeous, gorgeous, amazing country. We absolutely love this area. It's beautiful. You know, and it would be a place that, you know, we would consider if we were able to afford it to be, because it's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
But then again, what we decided was the geopolitical is the thing to think about, and that's why, you know, we did the moves that we've done recently, is to try to get yourself into a place where there's more freedoms, because that's the first thing. Yes, we have all these ever increasing quote unquote earth changes to contend with, as you see the smoke rising from this fire around Mount Shasta, and we have such pleasant memories of being on Shasta.
Oh yeah, we do.
Really feels like a magical area. It truly does. So, you know, let's hope that these wildfires can get contained. Meanwhile, JB is raising the minimum pay for people that are firefighting on a federal payroll. And, yeah, it's going to be a tough year, though. You know, it's been that case with records being set every single year, like the last 3 years. It's just the direction things are going in. So, President has temporarily raised pay for federal firefighters to ensure that no one fighting wildland fires is making less than $15 an hour. And you know, when people put their lives on the line, it's that doesn't sound like a lot.
It doesn't. You know, I'm thinking, wow, you know, people are really hurting, so they'll do what they need to do.
Evacuations after flash floods in New Mexico, over 5 inches of rain in 24 hours. That's massive. And actually, this one river went from being 4 feet high, and there's videos here. You can see this is in the Carlsbad area. So closer towards, say, El Paso. And in actuality, we're going to look at El Paso too. Amazing that you get 5 inches of rain, right? Fell in Queen, New Mexico in 24 hours. It took the levels of Dark Canyon at Carlsbad from around 4 feet to 19 feet in an hour. Moderate flood stage is 18 feet. That's so potentially deadly. And we look at the next headline, which it does say 2 lost their lives, and this is in western Texas. El Paso gets twice as much rain in a day as the first 6 months of the year.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is, and everywhere you go, you're going to have challenges.
Yep.
Everywhere, you know, and the desert is not, well, the soil is not used to dealing with that much moisture.
No, it's not. The moisture just kind of goes on top, and that's why we have all these flash floods and concerns like that, because it just can't absorb.
Yeah, and Cindy spent the majority of her life in the desert. Tropical storm Danny makes the first landfall in South Carolina in June since 1867. And as I was mentioning how unusual that was, it was pretty unusual. That's a long time ago. We're talking, you know, just after the end of the Civil War. And meanwhile, we had looked at a massive sinkhole over in Michoacan area in Mexico. And the ground is cracking like crazy over here. And these are near farms in Puebla, Michoacan. So Michoacan is just, it's cracking up over there.
Yeah, it is, you know, and it just makes me, I feel like the earth is like breathing a little bit, and there's something going on with her skin, but mostly the information I got coming in is something to do with the breath.
Well, expanding Earth theory, right? And so, you know, there's fears that these can turn into massive sinkholes and swallow up homes and farm animals and people as well. So the area is blocked off, and they are investigating. I wonder what's going to be discovered from all this as well. You know, think about that. You know, think about all the societies that are built on top of other societies in layers. And we have more volcanic activity going on. Rincon de la Vieja volcano ejecting enormous plume of smoke and ash 1.2 miles into the sky. This is over Costa Rica. Costa Rica, one of my favorite places. I think it's a beautiful country, and I know it has some of the most, I think it might be the most biodiverse part of the entire globe. And Tal volcano is emitting record high amounts of sulfur dioxide. So this is over in the Philippines. And we are waiting for that next wave of volcanic activity to come. And we do have something interesting we're going to show you that our brother Ben sent in that was up in the sky at the end of this video. Record-breaking cold and snow sweeping through South America. Just, again, the swings. It's, what happens when you push somebody a little bit too high on a swing and the whole thing could kind of buckle and they could all come tumbling down. Well, it's kind of like what we're seeing on the global scale here.
Yep.
Winter storm wreaks havoc in Cape Town, South Africa, as Greenland logs yet more record-breaking gains. So again, we're in summer up here in the northern hemisphere, and they are in winter. Cold outbreak on course for Southeast Australia as New Zealand towns register their first snowfall in a decade. All these different records falling, both record high and record low. It's I saw some comments yesterday as we look at another quote-unquote bolide or meteor or fireball. They all tend to do the same thing. It's like they go along a certain trajectory and then flash, and then they're gone. Kind of like opening up a door and stepping out through another dimension.
Or maybe sometimes going into warp speed.
This one was over Switzerland.
Really cool.
By the way. Talk about a beautiful area. That's another gorgeous area. So this is an interesting statement. What if we're just ants in the network of civilizations? Ask a UFO expert as he says we should prepare for imminent ET contact. He also says that, he believes that the Earth has been visited and is constantly being visited. So it's a new group that's been formed. One of the founders of this new group formed last month, the International Coalition of Extraterrestrial Research, explains its mission to RT and why he's so convinced aliens frequently visit Earth. Aliens have under-ocean bases. They're trying to dissuade the human race away from nuclear weapons due to potential catastrophic damage. In some quarters, that statement would see you dismissed as a crank, but not for Gary Hesseltine, Vice President of newly formed International Coalition of Extraterrestrial Research, ICER. So they are a non-governmental organization headquartered in Portugal comprising scientists, researchers, and academics from 27 nations. Their mission statement is preparing for contact. Every member of ICER has signed an oath underlining their core belief. And it says, after 70 years of worldwide research, we think the evidence points to something that is real, acts with intelligence, and is likely to be extraterrestrial and non-human. Yep. And, to me, again, and other people have stated this, that have done the research, it's in every culture all around the globe. Every single culture talks about visitors that are not human. Every single culture you look at. So it's kind of obvious that they've always been here. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty obvious to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go look at, medieval artwork and depictions. We could go look at cave drawings. We can listen to oral traditions and different stories. It all makes perfect sense. And, when we go and we look into the Puranas and the writings of the Indus Valley people that talk about the wars of the gods that happened, right over their heads. When we look at the mythologies and say, well, who really were the Aesir and the Vanir? How about the Tuasa de Danann?
Mm-hmm.
Who are these people? Because there's so many different layers, and some of them look to be obviously people.
Mm-hmm.
Others, can be in some ways personifications of nature or archetypes, so to speak. But some are most definitely beings that we're seeing in this 3D physical reality. But of course, perhaps, if we are talking about the golden age, perhaps our reality was of a higher density then, and it had fallen, and now it's rising once again.
Yeah, that's what I believe too. We are rising once again, and when I look into the whole ET thing, there's several things that come to mind. But I think the one thing that sticks out the most is when you look at the drawings on the walls, on the cave walls. Those are not made with like paintbrushes. They're not made with like other rocks. Those are made with like lasers. So the technology out there that they have, and some of the buildings that have been carved in solid rock are incredible.
Yeah, and when you look at it, we've had higher tech, and we are of the opinion, Cindy and I, that when we're talking about like Denisovans and we're talking about Neanderthals and stuff, they're making them seem like they're brutes and not that intelligent. Where what we get is that they were more intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
stronger, and just too much to handle, too much of a problem. So that's why they're not here anymore. And you could go back to that biblical quote in the Tower of Babel: "Look, the humans are united."
Mm-hmm.
You know, come, let us go down there and scatter them. And what did that scattering look like? Probably looked a lot like a sci-fi movie when you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, don't you? Can't you just see that?
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, it probably was so chaotic and so scary, and it could easily happen again. What the only thing that keeps it from happening again, I feel, are certain treaties that they can't just come and disrupt at this time.
Yeah, and what we've seen and what we've felt out in the West, we were in Nevada, and we've run into these walls of gigantic megalithic stones put together that really resemble a spinal cord, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, of a giant, or perhaps sometimes of a dragon. We had
Yep.
seen one dragon skull that we almost walked straight down into hundreds of a foot deep tunnel
Yeah.
because I was just staring at this gigantic skull, and we'll have to dig up some of the photos for you guys again.
Mm-hmm.
It was just amazing. So I want to share this with you guys before I forget, because sometimes I forget. Here we go. To share some of these videos that get sent in, and this is from our brother Ben. And what are your impressions? Feel this, sense this, as well as looking at it. Let's see what you guys get and feel off of this, and we'll kind of keep our opinion to ourselves right at the moment, because I want to see what you guys feel.
Trenton, look at it moving.
What is?
Is it a square?
It looks like one of those Japanese lanterns. Is that a flying head?
Guys. Trenton, help me.
That didn't look like it was too far over the power lines.
Mm-hmm.
That was really curious.
Mm-hmm.
So look forward to getting your guys' take on what you think that was. And as you guys know, if you watched the last couple of videos, we've partnered with Medicinal Foods, Sky and Ishmael. These are good people. They've been part of the Evolutionary Energy Arts family, EEARTS family, for years, and they've been following the videos as well as contributing. And so we wanted to include them because this is a small business, and it's started by good people that are trying to impact the world in a positive way. And we've gotten from the guides that we are to help you guys as much as possible with learning how to heal yourself and how to be as prepared physically, mentally, and spiritually as you can for the upcoming roller coaster ride, because we can see that things are getting tougher. Things are going to be more and more challenging. We need to be at our best. And so they have some really healthy, amazing blends here, which, thank you guys, because they did give us some to try, and we loved it. And, very easy to get into the habit of adding some of these to fresh juice in the morning, or perhaps you prefer to use coconut milk or almond milk or whatever it is that you're using. Fresh juice is so powerful. Think about it, minerals, and we could be taking in tons of calories but be nutritionally deficient, and that is so common on the standard American diet. It's energizing Chi tonic was very good, as well as the spirit tonic, and they have all sorts of bars.
Now those were so good. Oh gosh, those were good. And when we're dealing with health and healing, it does start from within. So this is where we want to go, and this is some really good stuff.
Yeah, raw cacao is so good for us, and then if you put something like that over macadamia nuts or mulberries, chocolate almonds, so good. And we have cannabinoid receptors in our body, so that tells us that it's part of our process, and it can really, really help us. And then of course, Cindy is huge and has been using silver for a long time, and she does not look like Smurfette.
No, I don't. And I've used both colloidal and nano. I have had great luck with them both. So whatever you guys think you might prefer in your heart and your soul, go lean toward that. But the nano's great.
So yeah, you can see smoothies, medicinal mushrooms, raw cacao products, herbal tonics, silver, so many good snacks, carbon 60. There's a lot here, and good people, and they're doing a lot to promote wellness as well as raise consciousness.
Yes.
So anytime you guys order through here, using our link, it does support the channel, and so we do appreciate it. And we want to thank all of our supporters over on Patreon, as well as those over on Ko-Fi as well, because we couldn't do it without you guys.
Yeah.
And so we had a couple of Patreons that Cindy wanted to mention.
We do want to say a huge thank you to Diane and Miss Joanna W. Thanks you guys for your support.
Yes, we couldn't do it without you guys. So we will be doing a lot more videos on health and wellness, and also putting up some new meditation videos. Cindy and I are embarking on a fast today, and we're actually going to be doing organic distilled coffee enemas.
Yay!
Yay!
That's always exciting.
Yes,
always.
That gives you a liver flush, and we have to flush and keep ourselves as healthy. It's detox, detox, detox.
Yes.
That's the name of the game in these times. So guys, as always, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.